Recording in progress.
Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check.
Recording in progress.
check, check. Check, check, check. Good evening, Tom speaking. Hey, yeah, I'm right in the middle of just about to start my my single member district meeting. Tuesdays, the first Tuesday of every month. I think it's I think it's the second or something like that. I think it's the second. Second or third, yeah. Oh no, yeah, yeah, second, I think. Oh, it's the third. Okay, third then. Yep. Oh, you get. Yep. Um, you can because it's a Zoom thing, so you have to go to our their website, 8A or ANC 8A01.com, and you can sign up. You have to sign up for the Zoom link to get to the Zoom link first. It's up in the upper that right hand corner. It'll say sign up for our May meeting. All right. We'll see you. All right. Take care. Thank you. All right. Bye-bye. Okay, folks, we're gonna start in just a second. Okay. I tried to send out the agenda to everyone. If not, there's it was sent in the reminder for the Zoom meeting, so there's a link in there. But basically, we're to do some introductions. We have some new business in regards to some construction, some a Boone resolution, um, and some old business. We're gonna have this brief discussion about the block party, update to the 1500 block of 19th Street, and update to new property manager for Alexander Gardens. And then a couple reminders for some important things that are upcoming as well. Um, First thing I wanted to do, we're going to do introductions. I believe, let me see here. Um, we don't. I was thinking that some of our educational representatives were going to later signed up, so I thought maybe they were going on, but it doesn't look like they are. So we're going to go ahead and skip to those. Next thing we are going to talk. First of all, we're going to do any introductions. So if there's anybody that would like to introduce themselves and have just basically introduce ourselves. These are the time to kind of meet our neighbors. Of course, as a reminder, we are doing our meetings virtual on hybrid level. So we're doing it in person at our ANC meeting. As you can see, Linda's at our right here at our meeting, at right across from the big chair. And then, of course, anybody is also welcome to join us um, virtually. So, thank you everyone for of those who have joined us virtually. Is there anyone that would like to sort of introduce themselves and say hi? If so, go ahead and you should be able to unmute yourself.
Well, I'm Tanya Sweeney, and I am a neighbor at 1518 19th Street.
Okay, welcome. Glad to have you here. Anybody else?
Hi,
Oh, Chris. Oh, go ahead, William.
I'm William Bethune. I'm at 1920 Naylor Road.
Okay, welcome.
Crystal Scott. I'm on 18th Place, and I typically walk the neighborhood with my Rottweiler. So some people may have seen me with my Rottie.
Indeed, I know I have. So welcome. Anybody else would like to introduce themselves, get to know your neighbors a little bit? Okay, let's move it right along. So the next thing on the agenda is we have a very loving, caring um, uh, pet lover among us. Crystal had just said, Crystal came across this cat that well, Crystal, why don't you tell the story and let folks know all the good things that you did for Scrappy. This is Scrappy.
Scrappy is a neighborhood cat. He's been in the neighborhood for at least 5 years. I feed some of the community cats um, in the neighborhood, myself and some others on 18th Street. We kind of partner and just look out for the cats. But Scrappy is very friendly. I believe he did have a home, or he may have a home, and someone's looking for him right now. Scrappy was attacked by another cat that bit his leg, and his leg became severely infected. And so I took him to my vet to be seen. So Scrappy has had antibiotics, anti-inflammatories twice, and I am searching for his owner. He was not microchipped. Um, to see if someone is looking for him, because maybe he's just an indoor outdoor cat. Um, but just looking to see if someone's looking for him before I get him fully vaccinated, um, tested, and neutered, and finding him either a rescue or a new home. He's super, super sweet.
So if anybody recognizes Mr. Scrappy here, um, I'm assuming at some point he's also going to need a home, or was probably would love to have a home. So if so, feel free to if you know anything about Scrappy, feel free to reach out to myself, and I can get you in touch with Crystal. But Scrappy is going to definitely need some TLC. I know Crystal has done a fantastic job and loving and caring for him, and taking good care of him, and all the vet bills and everything. So we appreciate you doing that, Crystal. Thank you very much for that.
No
Let's see.
problem.
Ah, four. Hmm? Okay, hold on one second. Mhm. We have okay, you should be able to remind folks.
Okay.
You're on.
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to share regarding the SPCA. For the month of May, they're doing a free microchip for dogs and cats on Saturdays. May 31st is the last Saturday. They have not announced another month to do this at this time. They are accepting walk-ins, but you may want to call or schedule an appointment online at the ABCA website at www.bvspca.org/BC.
Okay. So that's an update from our last meeting when you provided us a bunch of information for different caring facilities for our other loved ones, our pets. Thank you, Linda. I appreciate that. So let's go on to some I was looking to see if Mr. Henderson was on. Uh, mm, let's see. Mr. Henderson, I expressed some. But I don't see Mr. Henderson on, but he was expressing some thoughts about crime and for the most part we are crime is especially in our area we do have some pockets um that's being addressed. We're going to talk a little bit about it. We're still seeing some issues over at Boone Elementary, which is we have been trying to address for quite some time now. For a couple months, we have been trying to address that, but I'll get over that. We'll go over some of that in the old business. But for now, let's start with some new business. We have, to my surprise, I found out that we have some new construction coming in. And the new construction is taking place at 2322 Nicholson Street. So far it looks like the permit is looking for 61 units. Let's see if I can get you to know where that is. If you're coming from Minnesota, you turn left on to Nicholson, which is this is the very, very start of my district. It's sort of a white house there was a shooting there recently, and there was a bunch of stuff out on the porch and writings all over it and stuff like that. That in the lot next to it is this new proposed 61 unit with a cellar. Now it's early in the process, so but I did notice that they had received or that they're starting the permitting process for it. That will definitely add a lot to Nicholson Street for sure. If you recall, across the street, they just had a development open up and are selling units out of there. So, and that's between Minnesota and Prout Street. But I haven't seen any sketches or I tried looking it up. Didn't really tell me much more than what the notice on the door had put. So, but the intention is it looks like a 61 unit multi-story with a cellar permit for it. So I will continue to I did try to reach out to the property owner to see if we can get them to give me some more information, but was unable to reach the owner through the land through an attorney that they were using for the land. So the next thing, so I'll keep you up to date as I find out additional information about that. But that's 2322 Nicholson Street. The new business is, as you know, we have continued to be challenged with trespassing and Boone Elementary School being broken into. I'm going to read a note that I received this evening. Well, I spoke to Principal Douglas this morning. She had called me, or maybe I guess it was early this afternoon. She had called me to inform me that there was another issue at the school this past weekend, and I'm just going to read her note. She says, I need to express my deep frustration and growing concern. There was yet another break-in yesterday, which would be Monday. It is unacceptable that the pedestrian gate removed on Saturday, May 10th has still not been repaired. For over 2 weeks, our campus has remained vulnerable and trespassers continue to access our grounds nightly with no intervention. Yesterday, around 4:45, an individual entered the playground, scaled the building to the third floor, and gained access through the outdoor classroom doors, which by design cannot be locked to allow for emergency egress. Despite our building being armed and designated as high alert with both DCPS police and MPD, there was no response from either at the time of the incident. Security footage shows this individual letting in approximately 7 others. They vandalized the teacher's lounge, overturned trash cans, and roamed freely through the gym. They remained in the building for nearly an hour and exited through the gym, leaving behind an unlocked first floor window for future re-entry. This morning, my team and I saw signs of another break-in just hours before students were set to arrive. We contacted DCPS and MPD, and they did respond. However, the fact that we continue to face these threats with little to no preventive action is unacceptable. There's a clear failure in both infrastructure and response, and we need immediate action. Continued inaction is putting our staff, students, and building at serious risk. This continues to be very frustrating. We have been working closely with Principal Douglas on a regular basis. We had just this past Thursday, and I'm actually going to make this meeting available online for everyone for purposes of transparency. I'm going to make it available for everyone. The meeting that we had with MPD, with herself, with Principal Boone, or excuse me, the principal of Boone, Principal Douglas. We had the PTO president from Boone on it as well, as well as Commissioner Douglas, who is the commissioner on the other side of Minnesota Avenue. So we are scheduled to have another meeting. We bumped up having it instead of once a month. We were having it in 2 weeks. So next Thursday, we'll be having a meeting with DCPS school or police, as well as DGS, Department of General Services, has agreed. I will be taking a walk along with members of the Boone staff this week with DGS to personally review the vulnerabilities in the fence, and to discuss with them the specifics as to why these work orders continue to be outstanding and not addressed. I am putting as much pressure as possible on the necessary entities, because Principal Douglas doesn't need to be going home every day and worrying about who or what is on the property. It is a serious matter because every time I have gone past the school, there are consistently trespassers on the school property past school hours. And as much as it does bother me that there are oftentimes kids playing on the playground, doing what kids do, it has just unfortunately come to a point where we can't allow students to be on the playground anymore after hours, just due to the safety and security of the school itself. And then, of course, it does include, or there is a concern of the safety of the students and teachers during the day if there is unfettered access to the school and the playground area. Makes it unsafe and makes this investment of money to the new Boone Elementary School questionable. And so we need to address this matter and address it immediately. So therefore I will be putting forth a resolution next week. A week from today will be our commissioner meeting. So our 7 commissioners will have a meeting, and I will be moving a resolution that calls for DGS to immediately fix, review, and provide our commission a comprehensive review of the situation and the vulnerabilities in the fence, and request DGS to provide our commission with a comprehensive plan as to how they plan to move forward with it. I believe it'll be required within 14 business days. And it's something that I'm sure that our commission will support. They've been, I've made them, consistently aware of the challenges that we've been facing. And so it's now time to put our concerns and our voice and our frustration in writing, and have the need for them to officially respond, as it will be transmitted in the record, and they will be required to respond. So if anybody I know sees anybody on the playground after hours, on the weekends, again, you are encouraged to call 911 or 311 to request and to inform the police department that there are kids on the playground, that there are people on the playground. Please do not approach the kids. These are, in some cases, they are middle school students who are not the greatest role models, and the language and it's just not the greatest and safest situation. So I would highly recommend you just letting MPD know that the goal is not to have them arrested or anything like that. Is just to have MPD request them to remove themselves from the property. It's we're not trying. Our intent is to keep the property safe, and in good shape for a long time. So, but we no longer can have these students, and there's students from Kramer and from other school districts, nearby schools. And I will be the first person to admit that my concern here is the reason a lot of the reason that this is happening is that we don't have things that will keep our kids actively involved, other than in our immediate ANC. There's not a lot of places and things that our kids can do. So I'll be calling on our commission to also take that into consideration and look to see what if any steps we can take to try to give them something to do. I know that there's a lot going to be happening over in Anacostia Park, but that is either going under or over the highway, and maybe not something that everyone wants to do. However, we will be looking into, I will be tasking or asking our commission to really look at the fact of what other activities we can bring and what can be done, so that our the kids aren't bored, or they're not going and doing things. I mean, we have to do better as a community, as a neighborhood, as a Ward 8, to provide more things for our kids to do. And so that's the update with Boone Elementary, and the resolution that I'll make available on our website shortly after the meeting. So the next thing on the agenda is the block party discussion. I need to address this on a couple of levels, and I've given quite a bit of thought as to how I was going to deal with this. So the block party that was scheduled for next month, former Commissioner Tanya Crawford has not received the permits that were required to host this event. This is an event hosted by her as an individual, and as much as I was excited to try to help promote it and encourage it, the fact that the permits are not there it does make it difficult for me to continue advancing it forward. The permits were denied from DDOT and from MPD, stating that there's a lot of other things going on that weekend, and that that it was necessary to deny the permits. I'm not entirely sure what former Commissioner Crawford is planning on doing, if she's planning on having the event anyway or not. I'm not sure. I'm assuming that might happen. I'm also going to be transparent and honest with you all, because I feel like I have always, stressed to all of our commissioners about transparency and accountability. And I will add that I've had some challenging moments with former Commissioner Crawford. And it started with and I'm telling you this because I feel as your elected official that it's important that you understand and know what's going on behind the scenes, and because this could directly reflect upon me and what I'm doing. It's important that you understand that Commissioner Crawford is the former commissioner of this of ANC 8801. So I took her place. There is no love. There's not much love for me with the former commission. There's been a lot of negative things said about me, and I've chosen not to necessarily discuss it. If you've heard it, if you know about the history between Commissioner Mohammed and the rest of the commission, it's something that I've chosen to move on from and be focused on bringing the things that need to be brought, and providing the things that haven't been brought. And Ms. Crawford had recently expressed some concerns over a flyer that she had asked me to print, and I was unable to print it because the flyer that she had created had some photos of some kids on it that I didn't have permission from. I don't know who they were, to be honest with you. Additionally, the flyer that she had requested to be printed also had asked for donations, and the ANC and our commission is not permitted to request donations. It's just we're not allowed to do it, and so I expressed to her that I was unable to print it. So if anybody had received the flyer that was telling of or announcing tonight's meeting, on the back of it with a flyer that I produced in support of her block party, and I hit the streets, and as many of you may or may not have received the flyer, I had printed out 500 and pretty much gave them all out. So I helped promote it as best as possible, but that had turned into some unexplained response. She had made reference to the fact that she didn't want to work with me anymore, and this was a bit confusing to me because we really hadn't worked on it a lot. We both attended a meeting at her request. I had set up a meeting for we were trying to get a stage, and the permitting process of that process. We had to meet with a permitting officer, and that meeting, frankly, didn't go well. She had said within the first couple of minutes, former Commissioner Crawford had sensed some sort of negativity, I assume, from the permitting officer, and really sort of sort of conducted herself in a manner that resulted in her hanging up on both of us and me picking my job off the ground and profoundly apologizing to the permitting officer in regards to what the former commissioner had said. This is not the easiest thing for me to discuss, and I don't like discussing it, but I think it is important that it be discussed and that you all know some of the challenges that I have faced since then. Ms. Crawford has chosen to escalate things by basically pulling up to I was at the 1500 block of 19th Street talking with the owners, and Ms. Crawford began to yell out the window to the property manager and reference me and saying some things that weren't appropriate in my opinion, or even accurate, or and so I've alerted the appropriate authorities, and we're going from there. So because this event is coming up next week or next month, I wanted to be very clear in saying that I supported it. I was excited about it, really wanted to help, and I did help a lot, quite a bit with it. Where things change, I'm not exactly sure. And I'm not sure of the status of it, but given the fact that it is an event that she spearheaded as an individual, it remains in her control. And as of right now, I'm not aware of any permitting that will permit the event to go on. However, I know she has last year entertained this event unsanctioned or unpermitted. So I have not talked to her. I frankly will not be talking to her, choose not to talk to her. And I do wish her the best for the event. And I do wish and hope that the event does appropriately find itself being held safely. And I am looking forward to probably creating a committee for some sort of an event for our community later in the summer. So I'll be probably creating a committee that can also move things, move some sort of a gathering, for a day sometime in June or July, or probably in July or August. So moving along. Let's talk about real quickly an update to the 1500 block of 19th Street. I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm taking a little bit of pride in this because a couple of weeks ago, I finally got fed up with the inaction of all of everything. And I wrote a frank and forward email to a slew of people that have been working on this. And, since I was sworn in January, there's really nothing been happening except for additional squatters have been going in. They've been breaking the windows going in through the back and them having to put up the plywood over and over again. It just wasn't working. So long story short, I sent an email and began scheduling DOB inspections. This is the first time that I had, I don't want to say the pleasure because it certainly wasn't, of going inside the building and seeing the actual conditions of the buildings. And it's, the conditions were deplorable. There were several inches of water on the very first floor. If you're not familiar with this property, it's it's just a terrible property that's been plaguing this community and this block and the neighbors for quite some time. And there officially are 2 tenants in the property. When we conducted the interviews, the inspections, I also called for them to have a fire inspection, and it was noted that the fire inspection failed. And so the owner was required to put on the property a fire watch, which is basically it has to include two people. Two people have to be on the property like at all times, 24 hours a day. And I'm grateful that the company has actually employed a SPO or special police officer that has arresting abilities. They are armed and have arresting capabilities on the property while they're there, and have reported to me that there has been about 7 individuals who have been arrested on the property, who have been removed from either squatting or what other activities. And I called for, since beginning of the year, we've had 45 individual calls made to 911 for just this building. And they vary from theft to I mean, it runs the gamut. It's really all over the place of the different types of crimes that the police have responded to. So over the course of the last couple of months. So I do anticipate this finally coming to an end, that the neighbors can begin to start to feel safe again, as we do have basically an armed police officer there 24/7, who has arresting abilities and has the ability to really make a difference. And that will continue I'm assuming, until they find suitable housing for the 2 tenants. And then I do know that they have secured funding to begin the renovations of the building, and with the intent of adding an additional floor. So we are working with the Office of Tenant Advocacy, the Office of the Attorney General. There's quite a few people that have sort of been working on it, but it just there wasn't any movement on it, and so I decided just to kind of step in and start that process. And I'm happy with where we are. There's still work that needs to be done, but at least we've brought safety and security back to that building and to that block, and the residents can begin to hopefully feel a little bit safer than what they were. Let's see. William, go ahead and ask you to unmute, and we'd love to hear what you have to say.
I just had a quick question. So the property itself, um, it is under a different ownership, and they have applied for permitting, or are they trying to remove the people from the property and then put it on the market?
Good question. So the property ownership has not changed. It remains it's the same company. Their intent has been, and they sort of expected it to have already begun with renovating it. And at this point, their intentions are a little unknown, because this week has really brought a lot of changes. So because of the fire watch is very, very expensive. And so the fire watch will continue as long as there are tenants in the building. If there are tenants in the building, then fire watch people have to be there in order to alert them if there is a fire in the building. So my whole focus has been on the tenants, but making sure that, sort of making it either, some sort of movement has to happen. Either the tenants have to be relocated to another. They have 20 something other properties, this company, that they could relocate them to. They have been frank with me and said that the cost of them being moved to the other properties, their rent is going to be significantly higher. And my position has been too bad. You have 20 properties, you could afford moving these tenants to a property that they deserve to live in, where when you walk in the front door of the building, you don't smell the stench of urine, and it's horrifying that they are even in this property and in these conditions that they're in. Additionally, the tenants have. I literally went in with the board of building inspectors, and as we got to the very top of the floor, there was a woman who was passed out, needle in hand, who had just shot up, but she was out, and I immediately had to call 911 as part of, and we stepped over her in order to, talk to the actual tenant on the top floor. And the tenant on the top floor said that, she doesn't come out at night because there's no lights in the hallway. She's scared, she doesn't bother the people who may find themselves laying on the step. Like, it is a very unfortunate situation, and it's not fair to the tenants. And what the conversations that I've had with the property manager has been, well, I want to make sure that the tenants are taken care of. That we're trying not to force them out. However, I do want to make sure that their health and well-being is taken care of. So if that's the case, then they'll have, it'll be like 14 days that the Office of Tenant Adequacy and those entities that would help them assist them in finding a new place. So it's sort of the company needs to engage in conversation with the tenants, offer them something suitable that would rival what they're paying now. It's not the tenant's fault that they're being relocated or that they need to be relocated, and that they're going to start investing in this building. So we're working closely with the Office of the Tenant Advocacy to assure that the tenants are taken care of. And I've had multiple conversations with them. I've been in their apartment multiple times. I've made sure that that they've had working fire extinguishers, and that they've put in a temporary lighting, battery operated, which is not going to last in the hallway. So at least if anybody does need to use the stairwells, that they can be able to do it safely, and so that those that are in the building can open their door to light and know who's out in the hallway. We have removed all of the squatters. However, the SPO will continue to be on the property, and they've been doing a good job at aggressively letting people know that they don't belong there and that they need to leave. So the last thing I was there a couple of nights ago is that there was some squatters that they were about to remove. I do believe that they were removed. There's been some additional law enforcement agencies that have been to the property as well as a result of learning who was in the property. There's been multiple arrests, and my understanding, there's been, I think, 7 arrests, and quite a few people were removed from the property. So to answer your question, my hope is that the company will identify a property of theirs that they can be relocated to. Otherwise, I think that there's also some plans from the tenants' point to relocate themselves as well. So I'm not sure, which is going to happen first. But there are a number of people involved in making sure that the tenants are, taken care of, and that they're not going to be just shuffled into some, similar property that, their mom wouldn't want to live in. So I don't know if hopefully that answered your question.
Yes.
Okay. And if you have any other quick questions or concerns, feel free to let me know. I know in discussing it with the tenant or the rest, the neighbors, or most of the neighbors, I think that they're starting to feel relieved, and knowing that some sort of action is moving, but inaction isn't going to work here. And I think part of that is the tenants don't want to relocate themselves to a different property because they know that more likely their rent will increase. And so we're at sort of a stalemate, and that's not helping the situation at all either. So, with forcing the fire watch and various other things that we've done with inspections and such, somebody's going to have to make that move. Somebody's going to have to move, and we're just sort of trying to force it to some degree, while also making sure that the tenants have their rights are being considered, and that's why we have the agencies that we have involved. So, yeah. Thank you for your question. I appreciate it. As a couple of you may know, I had called a community meeting for those at Alexander Gardens. They had hired a new team. The team had received some threats from some of the tenants, and the team fell apart. Because there's been some issues with the grass and the garbage and the bulk trash. I've been back and forth with communication with them. They have informed me today that they have a new property manager that I've already heard from today. I guess she's been, I know she's been in the works, but I think she started yesterday or today. And those at Alexander Gardens should be aware that Shayna Givens will be making a initial contact here very soon with them. She's going to be taking over the property, and I've received assurances that the concerns that many of the tenants that have met with me in the past in regards to the property, I have shared those concerns over to the management. One thing I don't want to do is I don't want to interfere in the operations of how things are going. But if there's nobody there, if they don't have a property manager, that's where I've have spoken up and sort of relayed the concerns of the community to them, and that's when they informed me today that that this new property manager is on board, and I am planning on meeting with her in person on Thursday. So hopefully, she'll get her feet wet and take over, and all of the concerns or issues will be addressed and addressed directly to her. When they don't have anything, I'm really the only other person they know to reach out to, which I've done, and I've shared those concerns with the property management. Okay. So, in saying that, I just want to do a few conclusion remarks. Next neighborhood or single member district meeting, this next sort of neighborhood meeting like this, they take place every fourth Tuesday of the month. That will bring us to June 24th, 2025. At this point, it's planning it to be the same place and time. I just realized Commissioner Foreman has joined us, so I do want to take a moment to welcome him. If he wants to say anything, he's certainly just raise your hand or let me know. We'd love to hear from you, introduce you. He's one of our other commissioners. I keep encroaching on his territory. I keep talking to his constituents by an error. Again, I think I get too excited, and I either don't realize where I'm at or whatever. But he's been patient with me in regards to that. I'm all about having conversations and keeping conversation going in the community. So, welcome, Commissioner Foreman. He's also our treasurer. So he's one of our 7 commissioners that will actually meet next Tuesday. So I appreciate that. Welcome, Commissioner. as I just said, the next full commission of 8A will meet on Tuesday, June 3rd. So they meet the first Tuesday of every month. And I set it up initially so that way, I'll be able to communicate the agenda and things to everyone, to you folks, given that we're supposed to have 7 days notice of what our agenda for next week's meeting will be. So as we continue to work towards that, I'll be able to update you and have discussions about what we're going to be discussing at the following week's commission meeting. So that way, if you do have any feedback on any of the agenda items, you can ask me and we can have discussion, and I can take that discussion to our commission meeting next in the following week. So I look forward to engaging everyone on our commission work as well. That's where the decisions are made and the votes are made it's also where I'll be moving forward our resolution for Boone Elementary next week. So if you want more information about our meetings, I can get you the URL to sign up for our Zoom meeting. A couple of things coming up this week. So this Thursday, May 29th, we have a community service agencies from 2 to 4 will be on the opposite side of Boone Elementary, the 2200 block of Minnesota Avenue. We have multiple agencies coming in from just different district agencies. So if you find yourselves or one of your neighbors needing of some assistance, there's the Office of Tenant Advocacy out there, among others. Great agencies. They've been doing it every other Thursday, I think. But everyone is welcomed. Please feel free to stop out and learn a little bit about the different agencies and what they have to offer. Directly after that, at 4:00 this week, join community leaders in a community renewal meeting. There's a significant amount of commissioners and the community are coming together to talk about how we can move forward. And it should be a good meeting. We're going to be meeting at 2219 Minnesota Avenue. It's a hairdresser, hairstylist, or right there on right across the street from Boone, basically. We'll be doing the community agencies, and then all of us will, or most of us will probably be going right into the storefront there to kind of continue that dialogue and to see how we as a community can work together and to identify renewing the community. And so it should be really good. Maybe I'll see if I can even live stream it for us for the community to watch. So I'll inquire about that. The last thing that I'm going to stress, and it looks like we'll probably be able to end a little early this evening, is, and I'm gonna talk to you in all sincerity in asking for you to be involved in the political system at this point. So as we all know, the Ward 8 council member seat and election is in July. There is a council member candidates forum this Thursday, May 29th from 11 to 1 p.m. It's at the Academy of Hope Adult Public Charter School, 421 Alabama Avenue. This will include all or most of the candidates, including, my understanding is former Councilmember White will be in attendance to this forum. And I implore you to go to these forums and listen to the candidates. I also think that it's important that all of us increase our level of expectation from our elected officials. I do not think that that the ward has, I always like to ask myself is, am I better off today than I was when ... And I think that that's a serious question for you to ask yourselves and to for you to go to these forums and ask the candidates how they expect to make your life any different. It's easy to make yourself available, but what has happened in your life to make your life any different? And if there hasn't been any difference, or if it's not been a positive, where you've moved up, or you've increased your where you want to be in your life, and it's important that you understand that you should hold us accountable, hold your elected officials accountable, and engage with them, because they're the ones that represent you. I represent you as your ANC commissioner. Now, I'll also stress the fact that your ANC commissioners are volunteers, unlike your council members, who make, I think, over I think it's 100. I know it's over $100,000 a year. So, you know, they deserve to have you deserve to have a higher expectation of what your elected officials will be doing. And so, if you've called the offices and talked to people and they don't return your call, they don't meet your level of expectation, then you need to take that into consideration when it comes time for your vote. The other thing is that this is your ward, and so it's important that you keep that in mind. And the reputation of us and our ward and the hard work that you're doing and should all come into play. By raising your expectation, I hope that you can ask tough questions at these forums and educate yourselves on what kind of candidate you want to be them to be for this next special election. I don't know what to expect. I'm hoping that people engage in this process, understand that it's an important process, and in that people walk away with a better understanding and a better understanding of the individual candidates. So if anybody has questions or wants to know more about the candidates, let me know. I can try to keep you up to date as to when these forums and these educational opportunities become available. That is everything that is on my agenda. I've certainly talked a bit, and would love to hear from anybody that has anything to add, or any questions anybody might have, or if you have events or anything upcoming you want to inform our community and our neighbors about, please feel free to unmute yourself and let us know about it. This is your opportunity to inform us of things we may not know or things you want us to know.
Hi, Commissioner Donahue. Sorry, I was late to the meeting, but joined at a good time. I was just curious if there's still, I'm sure I missed the update about the block party, but is there still one happening in June?
So we just had a fairly lengthy conversation about it. I'm going to be honest with you and tell you I don't know the status of it. What I do know is that the permits for the event were denied by MPD and DDOT, and that this is an event that was initiated by former Commissioner Tanya Crawford. And I have not heard specifically. I'm assuming that it's continuing. However, if anybody has questions, I would definitely reach out to the former ANC commissioner herself, and see what the plans are. I don't honestly know after the permits were denied, what her intentions or how that's going to happen. So I don't have an answer for you specifically on what her intentions are at this point, given the fact that permits were denied. I know last year she had the event without the permits, and so she might be doing the same thing again. I'm not sure, and there's more to it that I encourage you to. I'll be uploading the video from tonight's meeting in the next day or so to our website, and you can watch back the more detailed description of actually what had happened and some of the tensions that came about from her and I trying to work together to bring it to fruition. So if you have questions, you can certainly ask me offline as well.
Thank you so much. I knew I probably missed a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, no, and we had a pretty lengthy discussion about it. It's something that she's a private citizen and has every right to host the event. I have supported it. I just continue to support the concept of it. I just want to make sure that it's done safely and appropriately. Because if you recall a couple of years ago, and I think this is one of the events that MPD has referenced. It was in 2020 on the other side of Minnesota Avenue. There was a block party that was unsanctioned, and there was a lot of people, and there was a shooting that was involved, and there was an off-duty recruit or new police officer who had been critically injured, and a 17-year-old named Christopher Brown who was killed. It was during COVID, and I think that there's a lot of concern over making sure that everyone is safe at these types of events. So I like I said, I don't know what Ms. Crawford's intentions are at this point. Unfortunately, she's made it difficult to work with her, and so I have not talked to her. You can see the replay for a little bit more of a detailed description. I've tried to discuss it in a way that's professional and transparent, because I think I ran on being very transparent and forward. I think it's important that the community is aware of exactly what had happened. But again, I do hope that however which way she goes, if you have questions in regards to it specifically, feel free to reach out to her, as I'm sure she'll be willing to have a conversation with you on it.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Well, with that said, I will certainly make myself available. If anybody has questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to me. And just a reminder that our next meeting will be, as always, the fourth Tuesday of each and every month. And our next commission meeting for of all of us will take place next week, January 2nd. On the agenda will be a resolution for DGS to take some steps in regards to the Boone Elementary School and the perimeter fence and the safety and security of the students and staff at the school during and after hours. So we'll be presenting that resolution, and I'll also be making that available online. So if you have any other events or questions or anything, don't hesitate to let me know. I can be reached at 202-660-9950. I try to keep our website updated with minutes and the recording of each of our minutes, or each of our meetings. You'll also find the recording of each of our A&C commission meetings uploaded as well. So if you've missed any of our meetings in the past, either our neighborhood meeting or the commission meeting, you can go to anc8a01.com and view the entire video of the meetings or any of the approved minutes from our local meetings. So thank you, everyone. Take care. Have a great week and stay safe. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a nice night, everyone.